Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, December 4th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's gonna open in about 8 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a few things here to update and we should be good to go. It's good. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Link is sent out. All right. Looks like we are good to go. So as people join in, I'm going to start off by marking up liquidity over here. There's a huge candle right here that wiped out a lot of liquidity from this week. Not sure what caused that. I'll check CNBC real quick if there was any breaking news. Nothing that I'm personally aware of. So looks like we got liquidity here marked up. Guys, we are good to go here. All right. So again, guys, if you guys want me to keep the footprints on here, or if you guys don't want me to have the footprints on here, just let me know and I'll take them off. I'll just leave them up for now. So I think some people here do like them on the chart. Again, they're not super necessary, but they do help with like something like say the breakout V3 continuation. If we see like a buy signal and it's followed with like good order flow or market structure, then it's helpful. So if you guys don't like this, just let me know. Like if you think it's in the way too much, just let me know and I'll take it off. Perfect. Thanks, Patricia. Just muted everybody. I know sometimes mics are on accident. Morning, Viv. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Viv says she likes it. Morning, Jonathan. All right, guys. So good morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. Today is Wednesday, December 4th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 45,022, and the closest level of liquidity below is at 44,976. You guys can see the levels of liquidity right here are in blue. The numbers for price are going to be right here on the right side. Looking over here at the clean charts, let me mark up some structure over here as well. So we got some structure right there, down here, down the middle. and up here. So here goes our clean chart. Let me go over here to the SR chart real quick. Looking over here on the SR chart, I'll see if there's any structure that we should probably be aware of. That big one down here. There. Down to the 10-minute. See if there's any small ones right here to maybe look out for. Down to 1 minute. Like we're good for the most part. All right, guys. So I got structure over here marked up for the SR zones. We got the clean chart over here. And we have our main chart over here, of course. All right, guys. So the breakout for today is going to be a buy, it looks like. My entry to the breakout. If the candle prior to open is very large, more than 50 points, we'll flip it. But for the most part, it is a buy right now. We got market opening up in about 20 seconds. We got market opening up in about 15 seconds. Market open in 12 seconds. We got market opening in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is open. So breakout for today is a buy entry.
Order filled.
All right, so we got that set up right now. Volatility is a little flat, just like it was earlier this week. There, so we know where it's at. Let me see the sessions over here. I'm just going to zoom out of here because you can't really see the top end of it. All right, so there goes a breakout. It's currently running right now. This is a good direction because overall it looks like price is going to be bullish for today. The 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is bullish, and the 4 hours is bullish. So all the time frames from lower time frames to higher time frames are all bullish. So a bullish direction is ideal for our breakout and for most of the entries for today. So that's kind of what we'll be looking for today, guys. We'll be looking for some possible buys. But we'll have to see how, market here moves. We have liquidity sitting above right here. We have a bunch of liquidity kind of just jumbled up right here where price is currently sitting right now. We currently have a buy signal. And then price is currently pushing up as we speak. So there's no entries here right now, specifically with regard to scalps, but our breakout's currently running in profit right there for a buy. We got price breaking through the liquidity right there. So we got all these levels of liquidity that just got hit. That's about 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 back-to-back full TPs for liquidity there if you guys took any of those levels. We have a few more levels above right here, it looks like. We have quite a bit of levels up here, actually. And the breakout full TPs right here at this black line. So we got price pushing up right there, about 70 points in profit. For the breakout, it's almost on its way up. It is climbing up higher right there as we speak. I don't think there's anything in the way. Yeah, there's no sessions up there. All right, so breakout's almost at its TP right there. It's about 91 points. Full TP right there for the breakout, guys. All right, so we're back in profit on all accounts, hedge accounts, scalp accounts, everything.
Target filled.
Target filled. There we go. Full TP on the breakout, 100 points. Great move right there, straight to TP. And that was a solid entry. So there goes our breakout, guys. Full TP on everything, profit on everything. And we are good for right now. So full TP. Hedge accounts are looking good. I'm going to screenshot that. All right, let me just post this up real quick. And then I'm going to close my hedge accounts because we're done for the day, full TP. All right, easy peasy. All done with that. I just shut down my hedge laptop. So if you guys are a hedge client, here are your profits for the day, guys. I'm sure you guys are happy with the results for today. So I didn't get the full TP on that, of course. I mean, well, I did get the full TP, but there was some slippage on entry. So these accounts were supposed to make 3,000, but I made 2,900. So here are the profits for the day, profits for the week. So if you guys are a hedge client, if I'm trading your account, these are your accounts right here. Great profits for the day. And we will continue to look for some more scalps here. Again, if you guys took any of the liquidity here, all the liquidity here got hit. So if you guys took those, nice TPs on those entries right there as well. So one thing that you guys can use here with the order flow is you can see over here when price came up and it hit the liquidity, you guys can see the candle prior to entry was it was about 227 delta. So this meant that like the buyers were in control, 227 points over. So you can see over here the breakout happened on this following candle, which blasted right through liquidity, and that was where it hit 658 delta. So again, if you guys are looking up here, if price gets near the liquidity above, and you see the delta over here is really high, I'd say like more than 60 or closer to over 100. If the delta is like closer to like, we'll say 70 to 100, then you'll probably see price push up higher because you'll see the buyers are in control and they're trying to trigger the liquidity above. So kind of just depends on like what you guys are looking for right here. But again, if you guys are just joining in, we just hit our full TP here on the breakout for a full TP of 100 points. Here are all the hedge accounts. So if you guys are one of my hedge clients, great profits for the day for everybody. It's pretty solid profits. I'll keep looking for some scalps here, but like I said, I'm going to wait here for some confirmation before I start looking for anything here specific. So there's a possible entry here for a market flow V2 if that's something that you guys are looking for. You guys are looking for market flow V2, entry would happen. So the whole number's at the 60 mark. So yeah, if you guys are looking for market flow V2, entry would happen right here. I'm going to hold off on the market flow V2 right now because price is overextended, of course. Price pushed up way too high right here. And it's due for some retracement. But if you guys do want to take the market flow V2, that's where your entry would be. I'm going to look for a breakout V3 continuation to come up to take on my scalp accounts before I start looking for any entries here yet because, like I said, price is a bit overextended. So I'm just waiting for some sort of confirmation here. If you guys did take the market flow V2 right here, it did hit TP for about 10 points. So if you guys went for 10 points there, your stop loss would have gotten moved into profit. But again, I'm not in this position. I'll follow it for you guys, but I'll wait for the next opportunity for me to take my entry. Just for now specifically, because like I said, price here already pushed up, hit our TP for the breakout. I'm waiting for that retracement continuation to the upside. So right here, again, if your stop loss was moved in profit to 10 points, you can see prices above the 10-point mark. So looks like you might have gotten stopped out in profit if you took this as market flow. I'll continue looking for entries here as we wait. Yeah, Oscar said, love being done in 2 minutes. Yeah, Oscar took the breakout. He's done for the day. Nice work, Oscar. So no scalps yet, guys. Again, if you guys are not familiar with this right here, I have the order flow here, order flow footprint on the right side. Basically, the delta over here is going to show you if the buyers or the sellers are in control. You can see the delta is at 68. Whenever it's negative, you know, sellers are temporarily in control. The thing is that I look for confluence here with regard to the direction of trend and direction of momentum. So the trend here is obviously bullish, and you can see that when you do have a bullish delta here, it typically pushes up higher. But again, I'm just waiting for confirmation of retracement because price is overextended before I start looking for any further entries from this point. I'm not in this position right here. This is a break. This is a market flow V2. It already hit TP for 10 points. If you guys are familiar with how I trade, typically I go for a 30-30, but I have a trailing stop that follows at 10 points. So technically this trade is already done with. We'll keep following it, but this trade is technically done with already because the trailing stop would have gotten triggered already in profit. So I'm going to clean up this liquidity here because there's too much on the chart at the moment. The market flow V2 is still technically running, but I'm not in this position. Again, I didn't take the position because of the overextension in the market right now. Let me go on markup opening price, which was this green candle. I think we have news today too, so I'll check that real quick. All right, so it looks like the market flow V2 is pushing back up. It looks like it already actually hit full TP, or it's on its way to full TP if you're holding on to it. Again, not in this position. I don't like when price goes sideways like this. Again, this is a reason why I don't take market flow V2 when we have an overextension, because whenever price is overextended like this, it typically goes into consolidation or range right after before it continues climbing up higher, right? It just becomes a little too risky. But anyways, the market flow V2 is still running in profit. Looks like it's about to hit its full TP, and it just did right there. So what I'll do right here is I'll mark up, I'll just put this right here and I'll put market flow V2. So that you guys know what entry came up right there. So if you guys are curious what entries come up, I'll just put like some like text right there so that you guys know what entry was at that point. That way in the future, if you want to go and review like what entries came up, like if you're curious what a market flow V2 looks like, this is a market flow V2. Price pushed up, we had a buy signal, price retraced down to the pivots. The whole number was at the 60 right here, and that's where the pending order would have been sitting. However, like I said, price was overextended, so I wasn't looking to take this trade here because I would look for that second test. So there goes the first one right there. If you guys are looking for another entry, it's going to be at the same point again right here. So if you're looking to get in late right here on the second touch, it's going to be over here at the 60 again. If anybody's looking to take it. But again, I don't really feel comfortable taking any trades here because you can see that price is actually consolidating sideways now. That's not what we want for a market flow V2. When you're taking market flow V2 entries, you want this type of pattern. You want price to come up, retrace, come back down. So push up, retrace, push up, retrace, push up, retrace. Right now, price is not doing that, right? Price pushed up, and now it's ranging. So for me personally, this isn't market flow for me. It's not the market conditions I need and market structure that we need for market flow. If you guys want to take it again, the entry is going to be right here. It's actually moving up now. It's at the 70 mark. So if you guys are looking for that, but we do have news coming up in about a few minutes. Thanks, Nikki, and thanks, Viv, for the heads up. So we got we have S&P Global Services PMI. This is inflation news coming up over here at 6:45. We had high impact news at 5:15. So let me go over here real quick and mark up the news at 5:15. There's actually no reaction to the news earlier this morning, but it reacted a lot later, it looks like. So we got that right there, and we have news over here at 6:45, and I believe we have more news at 7 o'clock. We got a ton of news today. Today's a big news day. So we got S&P Global Services PMI, S&P Global Composite PMI, all high impact and medium impact. Then we have ISM Services PMI at 7. It's all inflation news right here between 6:45 and 7. And then at 7:30, we have gas stock change. This happens every Wednesday. Then later today, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking at 10:45. So we got a heavy news day today, guys. I wouldn't take this next entry because we do have news coming up in about 3 minutes. So it's not really worth the risk. If you guys are looking to stay safe. And again, if you guys are just joining into the room, I see a lot of people who just joined in over the last couple of minutes. We had one scalp entry that showed up right here, which is the market flow V2, hit full TP for 30 points. And then we had our breakout over here that also hit full TP for 30 points as well. Or sorry, full TP for 100 points. And that's where I have these profits right here. My account is over here. It locked in 2,960. I was supposed to make 3,000, but it's okay. You know, I'll take the profit that I can get on that. And these are all of the other hedge fund clients that I have that I'm trading for. So if you guys want me to trade for you, the service is available. You don't have to do anything. It's a white glove service. Like literally, I take the trade, it copies to your account, you make profit. I think we might be full right now. Okay, so we might be full. If you guys want to apply for it, you can put in your information, and then when there's openings, then I could put you on the copier. But right now we are full, looks like. That was quick. The hedge clients got full pretty quick. I need to finish studying for that test so I can have unlimited clients. Minimum initial capital is 10,000 BIF to start with. It's to cover the broker margin. It's not my requirement, but it's the broker margin that you have enough capital to trade with. Let's see, what was I supposed to? I forget his name. Hey, Sam. Yeah, no, definitely. Sam said nice Sean Green Day. Yeah, solid day today so far. So guys, there's no entry here yet for the market flow V2. If you guys are looking to take it, this is the news candle, so I would just hold off on it right now. There's not too much reaction to the news. So the news right there is pushing down a little bit. Let's check the news for today. News was negative. So it was forecasted to be 57. It was 56.1. So it's forecasted to be positive, but it's actually negative. With that said, the inflation news at 7 o'clock is probably going to be negative as well. So S&P Global Composite PMI negative, S&P Global Services PMI negative. We have ISM Services PMI. It's forecasted to be negative as well, and it's probably going to be negative because these were negatives up ahead. So we'll see what happens here. We have more liquidity that's starting to build up right here. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a sell signal to come up. A sell signal would be ideal here because if we do get a sell signal, we can see we can get a breakout V3 continuation, which is what I'm actually looking for. So see, I would look for an influx of delta here. So I'd look for delta to be like over 100. If the delta is like over 100, then it's probably going to push up and hit the liquidity up here. If the delta is over 100 below, it's probably going to push down to hit liquidity down here, right? We got liquidity on both sides. Price is actually squeezing right now. So let me go over here and just maximize this. See how price is consolidating within this range. There's liquidity just like hanging out right here. There's liquidity up here and there's liquidity down here. So eventually price is going to try to hit liquidity, right? Right now, there's nobody in control. So nobody's in control right now. It's going back and forth. Eventually price is going to break out up here or it can break out down here. We don't really know exactly which direction, but price can and will probably break out in one of those directions. So what I would look for is look for hints here on the order flow, right? Look at the footprint. The delta right now is very little because there's just not enough buyers or sellers in the market. They're pretty much flat. You can see over here, there's 61 sellers, 64 buy orders. There's not very much here that's pushing price in either direction. And we're getting closer to 7 o'clock, which is a time where the market starts to get flat. So, I mean, we've been dealing with this type of market pretty much every day for this week. Monday was exactly like this. We had the breakout on open, price went flat. Yesterday, same thing, breakout open, hit TP, then it went flat. Same thing today, breakout pushed up, hit our TP, and then market went flat, right? Um, this is like something that you should understand. Like when you guys are looking at the charts, you shouldn't just be looking for entries. Look at market structure. Understand that, okay, price here is going sideways. So what strategies do you need to apply in this type of market? Apply sideways strategies, right? Don't look for directional strategies. That's why I was saying for the market flow V2, I'm not looking for this entry for market flow V2 because this is not how market's moving. When the market's moving directional, then use directional strategies. But when market's going sideways like this, use sideways strategies, right? So we haven't covered the strategies in detail. If you guys sat in on the last futures mastery trading class, then we covered the indicators and the tools. Next Monday, I'll be covering directional, sideways, and breakout strategies. So that's where you'll understand what I'm talking about here. Some of you guys already know what I'm talking about, but for the most part, you guys should understand the first thing that you should be looking for at all times isn't entries. Don't look for entries, look for market structure. Because once you identify market structure, then you can understand. So once you identify markets going sideways here, then you're like, okay, now I have to look for sideways strategies, right? And then from there, you could, once you have that in mind, then you're like, okay, then I'll list my strategies here that I'll apply. See, a lot of people, this is what happens with a lot of people. They go straight into the strategies and then they don't look at market structure and then they lose the trade because market structure is not doing what they need in order for them to apply those specific strategies. So just keep that in mind, guys, when you guys are looking for entries here. I feel like a lot of people are taught backwards. They're taught that like strategies work in all market conditions, but in a realistic sense, like using your logic, it doesn't work that way, right? Like the breakout, we took the breakout this morning because that's when the breakout happens. I'm not taking any breakouts here because breakouts typically don't happen middle of the session like this. So initially you start off with a breakout and then you go into whether it be a directional movement or you go into a sideways movement. Right here, price is sideways, and if it breaks below, then we might go into direction to the downside. Or if price goes sideways, fakes out, and then pushes up, then we go direction to the upside. So just be cautious with your guys' entries, guys. So again, price push down right here. You guys can see, look at the delta that I talked about right now. If you guys remember what I just said a few minutes ago, I said if the delta is over 100, price is probably going to push down and reach the next levels of liquidity. And that's pretty much what happened here. This is a breakout V3 continuation pattern, but it's against the trend, so I wouldn't take it. I'm going in the direction of the trend. So this thing played out pretty perfect. Looks like. Kim said, not sure if it will or has made an impact, but the United Healthcare CEO was fatally shot in NYC. Yeah, that's crazy. I'm sure I don't know if United Healthcare is part of the Dow, but I know it's part of the S&P. So yeah, it's definitely gonna have an impact on the market. Kim, thanks for letting us know because I had no idea that happened. That is crazy. That's pretty crazy. Let me check CNBC. It's probably part of the breaking news. Yeah, there we go. United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson fatally shot in New York. He was shot in Midtown Manhattan. Yeah, United Healthcare is the largest private health insurer in the US. Police are investigating the shooting as a targeted attack. Yeah, I'm shot him with a silencer. It's crazy. That thing's crazy. It's like there's certain things that I wouldn't want to be like a CEO of, like of a healthcare company, or not a healthcare company, but an insurer. Like an insurance company, I feel like that's so like risky because you think about the people who get screwed over by these healthcare companies, right? Obviously, you're gonna be a target. Like it could have been someone that was disgruntled, right? Family member had cancer or something that was like some sort of condition, and they probably didn't want to cover the Medicare. That's nuts. Well, that's probably going to affect the market to some extent. because United Healthcare, I don't think it's part of the Dow, but it is part of it should be part of S&P. It's one of the biggest. Here, I'll actually check right now. There's no movement in the market, guys, so don't worry. You guys are not missing out on any entries here. Let's see. Dow 30. They might be part of the Dow, I'm not sure. Oh, they are. So my bad. They are part of the Dow. I knew they were part of the S&P, but I wasn't sure if they were part of the Dow. Um, so yeah, United Healthcare Group right here. They're actually they're not bearish right now, but it is going to be bearish over the next couple because you're going to have to find a new CEO. So like depending on who they choose for their new CEO, it's going to affect the company. So it's actually up 11 points, which is crazy. Well, I mean, it's not crazy because it should be up, but yeah, United Healthcare is currently bullish right now. Yeah, Daniel says sounds like a hit. No random thug is using suppressors. Yeah, I agree. A suppressor in New York. I mean, suppressors are pretty much illegal everywhere, right? For the most part. Unless it's one of those makeshift ones. I find it crazy. And have you seen those suppressors with they put them in like the WD-40 cans? Like they actually work, which is crazy. Um, but yeah, it's like never would have thought. Oh, okay, Daniel said they're not illegal anymore. They're super easy to get 48 hours to now to process. Well, it looks like times have changed. I mean, realistically, I don't see why people would need a suppressor, right? I mean, it's a fun, I guess it's fun, but it's like it's a cool thing to have, but yeah. You have to pay the man a 200 tax stamp. Yeah, just like with the ARs and everything here in Cali. It's crazy how we get double tax here for guns now in Cali. All right, so we have a buy signal right here, guys, but it's not followed by a green candle, so there's no breakout V3 continuation. It wouldn't really matter because breakout V3 continuation can't be applied under this market condition, right? Price is going sideways. So even if we wanted to take a breakout V3 continuation, I probably wouldn't take it specifically because the market's not going anywhere. So here's a clean chart. As you guys can see, nothing's going on here. Price is just ranging back and forth between this area. If you guys do want to take a trade, you guys can look for some possible V1 variations, high-low momentum scalps. There was a high-low momentum scalp right here, actually. Let's see if it's still running. I mean, the volatility is pretty low. So yeah. So the high-low momentum scalp is actually still running right here, guys. There was a lower low. There was a buy signal at broken close. Actually, no, sorry, I take that back, guys. This candle already broke and closed past it, so there's no high-low momentum scalp here. So I didn't realize that this candle was like so big. It came down, then it spiked up like that. Oh yeah, Jackson. So they're loud they're loud. So with the suppressor, you won't be scaring anybody when you were in your yard shooting off rounds. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Definitely not a California thing. Yeah, imagine me shooting that off in the backyard. That'd be nuts. I mean, unless you're living in like the boonies. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. All right, so there's nothing here right now, guys. I thought there was going to be a a high-low momentum scalp, but because this candle broke and closed past the pivots already, it pretty much invalidated the move. We had the lower low right here, but pricing actually closed below it. It closed above it, so it pretty much invalidated the whole setup right there. The only other entries that you could probably look for right now would be V1 variations and CB pattern. So that's probably what I'm going to look for here as well. But you can see price is doing literally nothing right now. It's just going sideways. You can see it better here on the clean chart. There is nothing going on here. Daniel said my dream is to have a house back up to my house back up to Viola. And Jackson State sounds like a terrible place. Man, I'll never go back to like LA. During the holidays, I went back to LA for family. It's I mean LA is okay. Depends on which area of LA you go to. But it's crazy all the stuff that's happened there over the holidays, the shootings and all that. All right, so I'm looking over here at the chart. I'm looking at my scalping laptop right now. I just don't see anything on the chart right now. I was trying to see if I could maybe see if there's some sort of scalp movements that I can catch, like some sideways moves, but it's just not looking like it. Let's go over here to the SR chart real quick. So let me draw some new zones up here. This price is in a new area, of course. Let's go up to the higher time frames, 1 hour. Yeah, Jackson. So Daniel just he meant BLM as Bureau of Land Management, not Black Lives Matter. It's public land that you can off-road camp and shoot on. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, Daniel. It's like federal land that's out in like, well, in California, it's like usually out in the woods. It's like in the mountains, which makes sense. Yeah, I agree with you too. It's all federal land. I thought the same thing too, Daniel. I don't blame you, Jackson. I thought the same thing when he said that because I've never seen that acronym. I've seen it spelled out, but not the acronym that that Daniel used. All right, so I just marked up new resistance up here, guys. Let's go on the 10-minute. There's nothing else up here. So here is our SR chart. I drew up this is the 1 hour resistance. So price push up to this point right here. We have price kind of just sitting right here down the middle. Go back down to the 1 minute. See things a little better. All right, so you guys can see over here, price rejected directly off the resistance. And now it's kind of coming down a little bit to retest the lower end. Again, like I said earlier, guys, see the order flow here is useful, but it's not necessary. Like you don't need it. It's not required unless like it's a strategy that you're using that requires it. It's useful though. You know, like I said before, it's useful and you can use it to your advantage, but for the most part, it's not something that I like necessarily like need. It's just good to use when mainly for like breakout V3 continuations because the thing with these order flow numbers is that they help with confirmation for reversals or continuations. I think those are the best ways to use it. Like for example, if you're looking for price to come down to liquidity down here, you can use the order flow to see who's in control. But you can also see who's in control to see how big the candles are, right? The difference with us here is that we're looking at the 1 minute candle. So we see how these candles are actually moving. So obviously when this candle is big, it comes down. When it's big to the upside, it's obviously bullish. It's different when somebody's trading on something like the 5 minute time frame because those you have to it's harder to follow. But all right, let me take this off real quick. This was a news candle right here at 7 o'clock, guys. ISM services PMI. Let's see if it was negative. It was negative just like we anticipated. So all the news for today was negative. I think this is temporary. I think price will swing back up. So here's one thing that I will be looking for here. Yeah, let me see how far is this from here. Okay, so like I said earlier, all of the time frames here are bullish, right? Like literally everything here is bullish. So the 4 hours bullish, 1 hour is bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish. Everything price here is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. We have bullish momentum on these time frames. What I'm going to be looking for here is I'm going to look for price to break and close below the pivots over here. Then I'm going to look for it to break and close above the pivots over here. If it breaks and closes above the pivots there, then I'm expecting price to push it very high. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look for an opportunity here for price to push up higher. For correction. So you guys don't have to like this isn't going to be an actual trade. This is a trade that I'm testing on my scalp accounts. I'm gonna try to see if this pushes up higher. Let me see if I can log into So I log into my Apex account here so that you guys can see me take it on the actual account. All right, that's good. Just so I can also follow it on here as well. All right. So I got to log into my Apex. So we got price below here. If I get a candle that breaks and closes above the pivots over here, then I will be looking for, well, I mean, it kind of depends here though, because if the 5 minute is like super below, then it's not going to work out anymore. Everything has to be bullish here. But this is a strategy that I was kind of looking at. It's more of a day trade. It's something that lasts a little longer than the regular trade. But I'll test it on like one of my Apex accounts just to kind of see how this here plays through and how it follows through. So this 1 minute is dropping super hard right now. Delta on that was negative 206. Okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier. So see how this delta was like super far down, is like negative 206. If you see delta push back up, then it could be a reversal. So see how price is dropping down super hard right here. Once you see the seller start to lose power and they start to offset right here, and it pushes back up, and you start to see the delta to go up higher in the green side, then it's probably gonna be a reversal. You can see right here, price is rejecting off the sessions, and it's also rejecting off opening price. And the delta right here is currently at 45. So if you see some high deltas like push up to like 100 or 200 or something like that, it's probably going to reverse back to the upside. So we can kind of follow here and see. So delta is negative 206, delta is 15 here. So again, you're going to see a pattern here. If this starts to push up higher, then it's going to possibly reverse. Right now, it's not pushing up higher. It's actually pushing down lower. So we push past the sessions right here. We push past opening price, and now it's pushing down even lower. All right, so we got price kind of sitting down here. Again, price might have trouble getting past the sessions. You know, this is an area of manipulation. Price came down trying to hit the liquidity down here. So liquidity right here got knocked out. You guys can see the first level of liquidity right there, the blue line. Now it's pushing down to these lower levels of liquidity down here. So we'll see if it gets offset here, if it continues to drop lower. The thing is, I wouldn't chase an overextended move like this. I would look for it to flip the other way because the overall direction is still bullish. Let's see, Paul is asking, Sean, did you say you would be able to add our accounts to your copier earlier? If so, that would help me with my portfolio since I learned I personally can't handle psychology when it comes to day trading. Yes, so we are, but we are currently full right now. I will send you the link. Let me see if I can find it over here. So if you're interested, Paul, put your information right here in this form. You can fill out that form. I just posted it in the chat. You can fill out that form, and then that form, once we have openings, you know, I'll send you some sort of email telling you like, hey, you're part of the program or whatever, and we can go from there. So yeah, the way that the hedge fund works is basically you're added to my copier. So we took the breakout this morning. You're added to my copier here. Whatever trade I take on my account, all of your accounts copied as well. We all make profit. We're all happy. And then at the end of each month, you guys split profits with me, depending on what your split is set at. Usually it's about like at 50-50, depending on like what your account size is. If it's over 100,000, then it's negotiable, but anything below 100 is typically going to be 50-50. All right, so we got price coming down right here. There's just nothing going on, guys. I mean, price is coming down, but there's nothing for us to take here. If you guys want to look for a market flow V2, you look for price to retrace up here. The only problem is that, again, we're at the session. So I'm pretty much just sitting tight right now, waiting for some sort of confirmation or some sort of reversal back to the upside. Looking at the delta right now, the delta is starting to get a little weaker. So you can see our price is now starting to recover and swing back up. It went from 200 to 100 to 50, and then now it's pushing back up. So if it pushes back up right here and this goes above 50 and then above 100 and then above 200, then it's probably going to be a correction back to the upside, but we'll see. I mean, looking at the footprints here, the footprints are literally just looking at candlestick price action. We can see price action just by looking at the candles, right? Price pushes up, obviously the sellers are losing control here. But the numbers here just kind of give you a better understanding as to like how strong the buyers or the sellers are. But if you see a huge candle like this, it's obviously going to be bullish delta. Drew's asking what happened at 5:52. I was wondering the same thing, Drew, because there was no news at that time. But the thing so what happened here, Drew, earlier was there was news at 5:15. Nothing happened, and it was negative. So I think what happened, it was just a late reaction to the news. So right here, 5:15, it was like not even a body candle. It went kind of flat, climbed up a little bit, and boom, came down. I know there was earnings released this morning too, so that might have been also the case. But again, I'm not sure exactly what it was. But I was curious this morning too. I was trying to figure out what caused that spike to the downside. I didn't see anything here reported aside from the United Healthcare CEO getting shot. I'm not sure if that happened at 5:30 our morning or because it's like 3 hours ahead over there. It might have happened and that might have caused it, but no telling exactly what it was. Let's see. Maine is asking Sean, "Are you a millionaire yet?" Yeah, I mean that happened a long time ago. It happened when I quit my job, so it's been a while since that happened. Well, basically, when I went full-time trading, the first year of my full-time trading, I reached that point. So it's been pretty steady. That's why, like now, I don't trade as risky. I mean, back then it was easier to just take trades and like take risks because it was like I never seen that kind of money before. When you're trading, when you first start trading, it's easy to take more risk because you just want to go higher and higher and higher. Once you make a certain amount of money with trading, it's all about conservativeness now. So like now I have more money trading and I'm just conservative with my trading. So I don't know how long it's been since you've been here, Jermaine, but I've been like a lot more conservative than I was in the past. If you remember before with like FTMO and a lot of the other um platforms and other things I was trading on, I was taking like really big risks. Like every day I was taking like each account now I'm risking only 1,500, but I have like 20 accounts. Back then I was risking like, upwards to like 5,000 per day per account, but I was also making like the same amount because we were trading a lot more trades. So I'm kind of taking it down a bit, lower risk, but I have more money to play with now. So that's why I take lower risk, but I'm still making about the same amount of profit. Back then it was like if I blow my account, I blow my account, right? Because I was risking so much. Now it's like if I lose a trade today, it's not even gonna make a dent in my account because I'm risking like less than 1%. That's kind of how it works, guys. Like when you start to trade bigger money, you don't really want to risk as much as you did before. Because back then I was risking like 10, 20, 30% per day. Now I'm risking like less than 1%. So back then, if you would lose a trade or if I would lose a trade, I would be super upset, right? I would feel like I need a FOMO and I need to make that money back. Now it's like when I lose a trade, it's like, okay, whatever. Come back tomorrow, do the same thing, make it right back. Because that's how it was on Monday. Like Monday, we took the trade and it lost, right? We took the breakout on Monday and it lost. And then we took the breakout today and I'm back in profit for the week. Because I'm not I'm not taking like super, super big risk anymore. And then now that I'm trading other people's accounts and I'm like, we're doing this whole hedge fund thing, I can lower my risk too. Because typically this would be my own account. Like I would be risking this much in total. But now I am I spread the risk across the accounts. And then at the end of the month, I still make about the same amount of profit because I get a percentage of everyone's account. Um, Lila's asking, when is the monthly invoice sent? Didn't receive one for November. Yeah, no problem, Lila. It's going to be sent out because of the holidays. I wasn't around, so I wasn't able to set up the or have my assistant set up the emails for you guys. It will be sent out later, or probably today. If not today, it'll be sent out this week. So the invoice will be sent out later this week. I'm not sure if everybody will. I think there was a fluctuation in profits between accounts because during November, the elections happened. The market was like super volatile. If you guys remember, there's a lot of slippage during last month. So I think some people made more than others. Some people made less than others. So I think my assistant was like a little confused about like why the numbers were different. That's why we had to. We're gonna have a meeting today, and then you'll probably get the email either today or by the end of this week for sure, Lila. All right, there's nothing here right now, guys. Looking at. Yeah, I mean, there's still nothing here. If you guys are looking to take market flow V2s, there's one that came up right here, but like I said, it's right at the session, so I wouldn't have taken it there. Price is yeah, price is now kind of making its way back down lower. So if it swings back up right here, there could be a possible entry for a market flow. Right there. The entry for market flow is going to be right here at the 70 mark. That is where market flow is likely to be the case. We got the levels over here, so price dropped down below. We'll see if it holds below this area. What might happen here is a fake out, and then it might just range within this area. It's just the same market conditions that we've kind of dealt with the past couple of days, so it's like nothing's new here. Price pushes up, consolidates, breaks out, consolidates, fakes out, consolidates back up. That's just typically what happens. So what I would say is look out for what happens right here, because this could be a fake out and push back into this area where it ranges and consolidates. But there's nothing for me to take here specifically. I'm looking for these directional entries. Obviously, there's not going to be a sell signal because there's one here already. So there's not going to be a breakout V3 continuation. There's no pivot scalp. There's no, I mean, you can possibly look for a V1 variation if it comes up. So if it retraces up, V1 variation back down. Or you can, if that same pattern comes up, you can look for a market flow up here. Yeah, there's just nothing for me to take right now specifically. If I see something come up, obviously I'll take it. I'll let you guys know. I was really hoping that price was going to come down here and then swing back up and then continue back up. The reason why I wanted this to happen is because if you guys look up here, look at all the liquidity that's hanging out. There's a lot of liquidity just hanging out right here. So, you know, when price pushes up, there's going to be a lot of volatility up there. So this might happen later today. I mean, obviously this is not happening right now. It might happen later today, but if and when it does happen, you got all the liquidity sitting up there. We got liquidity here that got hit too down below. So if you took those liquidities, the next target that we could look for is going to be this liquidity right here. Looks like price is trying to fill this huge candle right here. So price pretty much filled it up, and then now it's coming right back down to fill it right back down to where it was initially. So this big spike happened, the one that Drew was asking about. Price corrected back up right here, and then now it's coming all the way back down. So the next target price point is going to be this level of liquidity. I don't think this is really going to get hit, though. I think eventually price is going to fake out, and you can see right here again, price is trying to push back up. Once it fakes out right here, I think it's going to push back into this area and then just consolidate and range right here for a bit. Like it's just the same pattern we've seen. Like, you know, if you've watched me trade live for the past couple of days or past couple of weeks, you guys will see that this has been happening very often, like all throughout November and all throughout this week. It's just, you know, it's a game of fake outs. It's the same pattern. You see a breakout, then it consolidates, then it breaks out again, then it consolidates, then it breaks out slightly into a fake out, and then it pulls back into the range. Ideally, I want price to push up because we got all of that liquidity sitting right there. Like I just keep seeing it, like seeing all these blue lines right here. I'm like, man, there's like so much liquidity just hanging out right here, and it just wants to get triggered. So this might not happen from now until 8 o'clock. It might happen later today. So like maybe if you guys are trading later in the session, just look out for this area here. You know, if you guys want to mark up my levels of liquidity, you can mark them up. They're right there. The numbers are on the side. 45.85, 45.108, 45.101. Or if you don't want to mark these up, just look at the price structure and then look at this area above here. So basically wherever the price is currently sitting up here, the resistance, look at this whole area up here, because eventually it's going to get hit. It's either going to get hit later today or it's going to get hit tomorrow. Let's check the news for tomorrow. So tomorrow on Thursday, or actually might get hit later today because we have Powell speaking at 10:45. So Powell's going to speak here at 10:45. He's going to discuss the interest rates. I think they're going to lower interest rates one more time. So either one more time this month or next month or the following month, he's going to talk about interest rates. And he's gonna try to drop it a little more. It's not going to be super crazy, but it's going to be maybe like a half percentage, or maybe even a quarter. So I think right now, I think the market is charging up for Powell. So right now it's coming down a little bit. We got Powell speaking at 10 o'clock. So later today at 10. So he's speaking at 10:45, I believe, 10:45. So right here, you're probably going to see a bullish push to the upside. 10:45. So price might come down a little bit, and then eventually you're probably going to see it come right back up. So it's going to lower sellers right here, maybe consolidate down here for a bit, push up here, consolidate, and then eventually push back up. Because we got all of that liquidity sitting right there. All right, so looking at this right here, you can see price is finally faking out, and it looks like it's going to try to push into this range, like I said earlier. This range is a real range right here. I think this is where pricing to sit for the next couple 30 minutes or so. So whenever this is done faking out, it's going to push into this area, and I'm just going to see it go sideways. There we go. Did exactly what I said, right? Faked out, and now it's back into the range here. Like if you look at the markets enough, if you look at the markets consistently, like say for example, it doesn't have to be YM. If you trade something like NQ and you trade it pretty much every day, you'll see the same pattern just repeat itself. It's the same thing: breakout, range consolidation, breakout, range consolidation. And then if it ever pulls out of this area, like it did right here, it's usually going to be a fake out. Just like it did right here, right? The reason why I knew this was because the consolidation range wasn't done yet. You can see over here, price came up, faked out above, pulled back below, faked out right here, pulled back below. The range finally finished when it got down to here. The range will typically last about like 20, 30 minutes. Right here, you can see it lasted for 30 minutes, and then it broke below. And then again, right here, the range is now going to continue for 30 minutes or so, and then it'll break out. So it's just all repetition, guys. If you guys put enough chart time on, then you'll be able to see this stuff too. And some of you guys might be like, this is like so hard to read, but if you just keep studying it and understanding how the price structure works and the movement, you guys will understand that market just repeats itself over and over and over again. So again, if you guys want to trade sideways entries, you can look for some sideways entries here. But I mean, personally, I usually just sit out of these types of market conditions. Brock said, yo, I hate USD. I wish you well. I'm glad it makes sense from it. Brock says he trades GBP, USD, and gold for forex and for futures, YM and NQ. Yeah, Gail said she's purely futures. Forex is not for her. Yeah, forex is cool, but it's like I don't want to be on the chart all day. When I used to trade forex before, guys, when you guys used to trade with me, and I used to call signals for forex, I used to trade on the 4-hour time frame. So it was just kind of annoying being on the chart every 4 hours. That's why I don't trade forex anymore. There's nothing wrong with forex, but for me personally, it's too slow, and I don't want to be on the charts all day. Like we took the breakout this morning. The breakout took about, let's see, took 2 minutes. So 2 minutes right here, and we locked in this profit. That's the type of trading that I like to do. I like to be in and out quickly and then not have to sit on the charts all day. Viv is asking, are all these orders shown or could there be ones we cannot see? So with the order flow right here, sorry, Viv, I just saw your message. Um, these are technically supposed to be all the orders, but there's like this thing called a dark pool, and like it's just orders that are filled in the unknown. That's usually where a lot of like market makers and hedge funds trade like their huge orders. So for the most part, these are the retail orders, but sometimes you'll see like a black swan event, like where you'll see a huge candle come up out of nowhere, and it won't show on here, or it'll show on here, but it's not going to show the full orders because they put those orders behind the scenes, right? Like with some of those orders, it's like, all right, they go straight to the exchange, and like I need to put in like like 1,000 orders right now, and they're like, all right, we'll put in the 1,000 orders, but they don't want people to see it because if those orders go in on the screen, then everyone's going to chase it, right? It's going to cause havoc in the market. So the answer to your question is yes and no. It's yeah, exactly. Viv said they break up their orders. Yeah, so sometimes they have them like where they're slowly pushed out, or they have them that are like sometimes they're like, okay, we'll put 100 orders here, 100 orders here, 100 orders here. Or sometimes they'll just put a bulk order and then they'll just slowly feed it into the market. So yeah, you'll see for the most part, you'll see the orders on here, but you're not going to see like a pinning like 1,000 order, right? Because that's usually how these hedge funds and market makers, that's how they enter the orders. They'll put like a huge order right there, and then it's like 1,000 contracts, but it only gets filled when price passes. So if price pushes up, it'll fill it, and then comes down and it fills it, and it's not going to show hey, Viv, there's 1,000 orders hanging out right here, so that you know exactly where they're looking to buy or sell. So yeah, some of the orders are masked, but for the most part, the footprint and order flow here will show you for the most part like what orders are actually being filled and what buyers and sellers are in the market. Yeah, I know it's kind of tricky. That's why like the breakout's probably like usually the time where a lot of those orders get filled. So let's check the breakout candle real quick. Because the breakout candle, you'll see the delta is like close to like, it'll be like in the 500 to the thousands. Or let's see this huge candle right here, that one that happened. So see this huge candle that happened at 552? That was 1,000 order, like 1,000 right here. So this is one of those orders that I just told you about. Like this is one of those orders where it's like they put one huge order and they try to just get it filled all at once. A lot of times they don't try to get it filled all at once because people will follow it. And that's so this is a trap. Like see how this big candle, and I'll show you here real quick. See how this huge red candle came up right here? Some people try to follow that. They see the huge candle and they're like, oh, price is going to keep dropping. This is a trap by the market makers. What happens with this sometimes is they'll put in the big order and then they'll take a loss. They'll take a loss on half of it, right? They'll just drop a fat order right there, like 1,000, and then they'll okay, I'll take a loss on half of this. Because what happens is they take the loss on this right here, but then they buy back right here, and then everyone chases the buyback, right? Because it buys back. And then right here, the retail traders chase it, and then the profit from down here they recoup their loss. So they take a fake loss right here, they recoup the loss, and then they get free money right here because the retail traders chase it back up. So they chase it back up, and then they just have their same buys that happen down here, right? So the hedge funds and the market makers, they have their buys from down here, and they basically took a loss from right here, and then they bought it back right here. And then everything from this point is all free money for them. It's all a racket, right? Because the retail traders are going to follow. They're going to follow what the institutions and market makers did. So instead of taking a 1,000 point loss or 100 point loss, they ended up making 50 back, and then they made back another 170 on top of that. So they basically just fooled the retail trader to think that price was going to come down, and then price comes back up. That's why, like, the markets, like, you just have to understand the price action for this. That's why whenever I see huge candles, I don't chase them, because I already know that's probably going to be a fake out. Price comes down, fakes out. Sometimes it's not a fake out and it keeps dropping because the retail traders chase it and there's too many orders in the market and it keeps dropping. But a lot of times you'll see a big candle like this, it'll fake out, and then they're already in the position, so they just hold on to it, and then they let it push up for the rest of the day. And then when they get to this top point, they offload. So, you know, it's a game. It's really it's a game. And that's why that's why if you look at how I trade, guys, I trade completely different from everybody else, right? You see a lot of people who trade the same thing. They trade, I trend trade, but I trend trade differently. I don't trend trade like everybody else. Like, I'm not trading trend lines. Like, I don't trade your traditional trend lines. I don't trade support and resistance. I don't trade supply and demand. I don't trade any of that stuff. I just trade in between the market. So the way that I trade is instead of me catching, you know, say for example, the resistance up here. So here's the SR chart. Instead of me catching like wherever the resistance is or wherever the support is, what I'm looking for is I'm looking to trade in between this area. I'm trading where nobody else is, where most people aren't trading. So instead of catching a trade up here in this area, I'm looking for trades down here in the middle, right? I'm not looking to trade right here at the support. I'm looking to trade when price pushes past the support. Or I'm not looking for price to hit this level. I'm looking for price to trade within this middle area. So, you know, it's just my edge. This is my edge in the market. There's nothing wrong with trading like everybody else, but if you have traded those ways in the past, you'll notice that like you're going to lose more than you win, and you're probably not going to be very consistent because if you're trading like everybody else, those are usually the types of strategies that these market makers and institutions look to trade against. So I try to stay under the radar. Like every time I trade, like for example, you see the trade that we took here for the breakout. I wasn't really in any area where anybody was really looking because a lot of people don't trade breakouts like me. They like to just wait. Like for example, our breakout happened right here, right? Sometimes you'll see people enter trades like down and below, like where price comes down, or they try to enter a sell right here because they see this as, you know, a resistance point. So it's just my way of trading. Again, you know, there's no one way to trade, but I just stick to what works for me. I try to stay under the radar. I try to just take my profits and not be known in the market. I try to get in, get out, and then repeat the process every other day, pretty much. Let's see. Sam said, your USD has been rubbish this year. I took a news trade. I knew it'll happen and had a plan. Your USD 8 trades this month, 7 wins on the higher time frame. I like your style, Sean. That's why I'm here. Yeah, my style is very different. I mean, it doesn't work for everybody because a lot of people don't like trading this way because you have to be really actively involved in the market, right? Like you can't be waiting for price to hit a certain level. Like if you're trading support resistance, you're like, okay, I'm gonna wait for price to hit this level right here. And you just kind of just wait for it to hit. For me, I'm actively looking at the charts and I'm actively thinking like, okay, if this happens or this happens or this happens, I'll take a certain trade. Like for example, we have a sell signal here. If that sell signal was followed by a bearish delta, I would have taken that for a breakout V3 continuation, right? But because it wasn't followed by a bearish delta, we couldn't have taken it. There was also no red candle there. So I try to trade under the radar. I just try to get my little profits here and there. Like I'm never going for like these huge wins, or I'm not going for stuff like this, right? For like 1-3 or something like that. I just try to go in for either a 1-1, maybe even negative because my stop loss gets moved in profit. I just try to stick to the game plan. So if you guys are looking to take a market flow V2 entry, there can be a possible entry right here at the 50 mark. So at the 44.50, 44.950, there's a possible market flow V2. The only problem right here, guys, that I'm going to warn you guys about is that the ATR is extremely low. So the ATR is currently at 16 ATR. That means that the market volatility is very, very low right now, and you probably won't expect price to where's that noise coming from? Oh, whoops. Let me just mute. Sorry, guys. I think someone unmuted themselves. I heard them in the background. I was tripping for a second. I thought I had something on, but it was someone in the Zoom. Anyways, so like I said earlier, guys, the ATR is currently at 16 ATR right now. So the volume is very, very low with regard to how price is moving. You can also see over here on the order flow chart that there's not much going on, right? Let me just make this a little bigger, or let's go over here real quick. So you can see over here that nothing's going on with regard to order flow either. It's kind of just staying flat. So might want to chill on that. Let me see if there's any other indicators here I can add that may help with analysis here for order flow. I just realized, if you use the high-low indicator, so you can see how the order flow broke and closed past the high-low right here. This could have been a possible entry for a sell for a high-low scalp. I mean, a lot of times you don't even really need the another one right here. Oh, interesting. So this is going to give me ideas, of course. So looking at this here, I mean, you can see like when price breaks below certain areas and the delta is strong enough, it continues to push. I'm gonna have to make these lines a little thicker. But yeah, so like for example, there's a higher high right here. This candle broke and closed past it. This was actually our opening candle. So this was our breakout entry. So you can see over here for the breakout entries, we have those huge candles. Like it was 1,000 buy orders. I have the higher high right here. So if I would turn off the footprint, but you wouldn't be able to see the numbers here. But you can see where the higher high is. It's right here, this green label. You can draw a line where the higher highs are at. And then if the candle breaks and closes past it, and it's a very strong delta, it'll usually push up higher. Kind of curious now, because this actually works really well. So again, right here, there's a low. This candle broke below. It wasn't a very strong delta, but it was a stronger delta compared to a lot of the others here. So like the deltas here were like around, they're the lower two digits, like 9, 12, 17, 22, 3, 18, 17, 24. This one over here was a 32 delta for a sell, and it broke and closed past the high low. This could have been a sell entry, and that would have been an entry right there for a high low scalp. All right, I guess there's something I can play with, of course. I guess you could even look at it as pivot crosses. It's just kind of messy because probably not the pivot crosses. I think the high lows were probably one of the better ones. So the high low and the momentum actually work really well together. So the momentum and the high lows here. It's just basic price action, basically. If you see price kind of break past certain areas, like again right here, delta was at 0. Probably would have messed with that. This was like during London session, so it was a little slow. But I'll keep an eye out on that. I'll just keep an eye out on that, and we'll see if that becomes useful for us. So we got a new higher high right here. Price breaks past that. We'll see. So let me take this off real quick. All right, we got price swinging back up. Yeah, this is typically what happens. I just get I always get ideas. So we have a current higher high right here. If this candle breaks and closes past it and the delta is pretty high, then this is probably going to keep climbing up higher. This is just what I just saw earlier with what we were looking at. So right here, how price hasn't broken past it yet. So if this following candle right here breaks past it and if it has a strong delta, it'll probably continue pushing up higher. So like I said, like this order flow footprint, it's good for confluence. I don't necessarily use it as a standalone, but if you use it for like, for example, you see price breaking structure here, which is a higher high, and then you see the delta is very high, like it's like it's like higher than what it's been, like maybe 50, 70, or 100 points, then it's probably gonna keep pushing up even higher. If it's low, then it's probably not gonna be very strong and it might come back right back down. But we do have a higher high right there that's sitting, looking like price is trying to make its way back above. Yeah, Brock said delta is so rich, not the holy grail. You need to really have some sort of confluence. Yeah, exactly. So I would use the delta as a confluence, not exactly as a standalone entry, but like, for example, if you have a high low that gets broken right here, and the thing is we're looking for price to push up anyways, because the higher time frames here are bullish, right? So it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like, all right, if you're looking for an entry here for price to push up, the overall trend and bias is bullish, then you use the confluence here with the delta. So if the delta is high, you have price breaking structure, you want price to push to the upside, then okay, in that situation, price is likely to push. The only problem here again is that we're right at the session. So even if price does push to this point, we have an area of risk right here. So just something to keep in mind. So we got price breaking closing past the structure right there. I'm not going to take this trade. We'll just follow it as an example because it's right at the session. So it's not really one that I feel comfortable taking. And it looks like it's not going to break actually. So it pulled right back below. And there we go again. So still no confirmation there. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna have a flat market. Let's go back to the range over here. So again, price is still stuck within the range. It's faked out below a couple times, but for the most part, still ranging within this middle area. So faked out right here, pulled back above, faked out right here, pulled back above. And of course, you can see right here, the range is still right down the middle. All right, well, I was hoping we'd have something here, guys, but it's looking like we're not going to get much. Market volatility here is pretty flat. I think what's going to happen here is the market's probably going to stay flat until Powell speaks later at 10 o'clock. I think that's just what's going to happen. I think people are just waiting for Powell to speak because Powell is the game changer, right? You guys know how Powell is. He's known as the money printer. So when Powell speaks later at 10 o'clock, I think price is going to stay flat here for a bit, but eventually I think price is going to push up. Like I said earlier, there's a ton of liquidity sitting up here, guys. So there's a lot of liquidity just hanging out right here, ready to get hit. And there's more that's even higher. If you go higher from where price is currently at, you'll probably find more liquidity. But, like I said, there's a lot of liquidity just chilling out right there, waiting to get triggered. Let's see if there's anything else here to look at as we wait. So we have a possible sell signal coming up right here. Again, in order for me to take that breakout V3 continuation, I gotta have a pretty strong confirmation after it. This candle doesn't even look like it's looking very strong or it's going to be strong. Invalid sell. Yeah, not much right here. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. It's 7:41 right now. We're getting closer to 8 o'clock. Volatility here is pretty flat for the most part, so I'm not really expecting too much to happen from here until 8 o'clock. We have a sell signal that just closed right here. This delta would have to close pretty strong in order for me to take a breakout V3 continuation. So I'm going to have to need like a delta of like, it's going to have to be over 20. So if you guys want to take this as a breakout V3 continuation, feel free. The candle has to close red and the delta has to be, heavier than what it was earlier, which is going to be above, like, it's got to be negative 20, negative 30, somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on it. If you guys want to take it, feel free. Candle's going to close in about 5 minutes. I just don't feel a need to force any trades right now. The delta is 36. So if you guys want to take that trade there, that's a breakout V3 continuation. It's not a very strong one. You can see the sell signal here is very weak. The delta here was decent. It was like 36, but it wasn't very strong. I was looking for like a bigger number, like closer to 100, so that you actually have the sellers in control. The sellers aren't really in control right now, as you guys can see. It's pretty mixed. You can see over the sellers were controlling this candle. Then right here it got mixed. Then right here the buyers got in control. Then right here it was mixed. And then right here again on this specific candle, looks like buyers are in control again. So I think volatility here is going to be pretty low for the most part. All right, let's see if there's anything else here that I need to cover before we get off. All right, nothing going on here. I'm gonna take this off, guys. I want you guys to think that I'm in the position. Like I said, nothing here really added up to what I needed to take the trade. The volatility here is pretty flat, as you guys can see from the clean chart. It's still in the range that we talked about. Eventually, price is gonna break out. Ideally, I think price is gonna break out to the upside, but that's yet to be shown. Over here on the SR chart, you can see price is respecting the range. So I drew these SR zones before price even got to these points. So, if anything here happens, probably catch the bounces off these lower ends because the overall bias is still bullish. Yeah, I mean, you guys could trade within this area. It's not super bad. I'll probably look at this. So we'll look at a bigger picture and we'll have some sort of bias moving forward. Typically, we don't really have much of a bias because we're okay with trading both directions. But for the SR charts over here, we'll have some sort of bias because whenever price comes down and bounces off certain areas, I mean, you can take trades off those bounces, right? Because as long as you know the direction of overall price, you can take trades there. So looking over here on the 4-hour, it's still bullish. 1 hour is bullish. 30-minute is swinging back to bullish. 10 minutes still bearish because price is below the pivots. 5 minutes bearish because price is below the pivots, and the 1 minute here is trying to push back up above it. Like I said earlier, I was looking for price to push back up so that we can take this bigger push to the upside. Because looking at the liquidity over here, there's a ton of liquidity sitting up here, right? So with all the liquidity sitting up here, that's a nice little liquidity push to take to the upside. However, because price here is still kind of weak on the lower end, I don't think it's ready to push up yet. It might just wait until Powell speaks later at 10 o'clock. So let's see, Brock said, or Sam said, thanks, Sean, for today. Everything is like waiting for Papa Powell. Yeah, I agree with you too, Sam. I think the market here is just going to wait for a bit. And it's going to consolidate a little longer until we get to 10 o'clock over here where Powell's going to be speaking. So, I mean, we got a lot of time until then. So if you guys want to trade, I would probably just sit out for a little bit, maybe come back in an hour or two, maybe like around 9. So around 9 o'clock, volatility might pick up a little bit later. And then around 10 o'clock, 10:45, when Powell starts to speak, that's probably where price is going to start to move a lot higher. Again, I think price is going to be bullish because he's going to be talking about interest rates. There's already been talks about interest rates being reduced a little bit for 1 or 2 more times. So either this month, next month, or the following month, interest rates are probably going to get dropped just a little bit, not a lot, but just enough to kind of get people excited. So we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, there's nothing going on here. Price is just going to keep consolidating and ranging sideways. So All right, guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, if you guys are just joining or you guys didn't sit in for the whole session, we had 2 trades that hit today. We had the breakout that hit full TP right here on open. These are all the profits across my accounts and the hedge clients. So if you're a hedge client of mine, these are your profits. You guys did great today and you're doing great for the week so far. Other than that, we didn't take this trade because it was right at this point, but this was a market flow V2. Price was consolidating a little bit at this area, but it did hit TP right there for 30 points. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a screenshot of this as well so that you guys can see the entry. And then I will put this over here as well in the list of trades for the day so that you guys know what trades came up and what to maybe look out for tomorrow. So liquidity push, there was about like a lot of them. I think there was like 7 entries that came up, and then there was 1 entry for market flow V2. Other than that, market's been pretty flat. All right, we got some team profits here from, let's see, Jonathan. Jonathan locked in a total profit of 3,000 on his account. Nice work, Jonathan. He actually got the full move on there. So great work on hitting that right there, Jonathan. But all right, I think that's about it, guys. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, market's probably gonna be flat until 10 o'clock. If you guys want to trade, come back like maybe an hour or 2 later. And then once Powell starts to speak, we're probably gonna see a bullish push. Ideally, that's kind of where I'm seeing price going to. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have questions, reach out. Otherwise, same time, same place tomorrow for